Hello, welcome to Program with Sam, and this is C++ Lesson 1. So today we're going to be doing Hello World in C++. Now, if you actually make yourself a C++ console application, you're actually going to be given the code for Hello World. It does it all for you, which for some people who are sort of like veteran C programmers or C++ programmers is probably a bit annoying really, because you then have to go through and delete that code. But it's ideal for us because it means we don't have to do any writing in this tutorial. I'm just kidding. We'll come on to some other stuff later where we're going to write code. But for now, we're just going to navigate to the actual source file with the Hello World in it. And I want to go over a few things. So you should notice some similarities to the C tutorial. If you did the Hello World C, you'll notice that we have an include statement with the library, and we have this statement down here, which actually has the printing out of the Hello World. In C, it was printf. In C++, we tend to use cout. And the way it works is by essentially saying that cout is the output stream, and we want to put this into the output stream. And that's essentially how it works. Now, this is all done through Iostream, and Iostream stands for Input-Output Stream, and that is the library, the header file, whatever you want to call it, that is being used to actually allow us to have access to the function cout. And it's the same as stdio for C. It gives us our input-output functions, only, to be honest, I think cout is probably a lot better and you can do a lot more with it. Now, you'll notice that it says std::cout, when the function that I've been referring to is just cout. Now, the reason we have the std::out is because that's the namespace that it comes under. So whilst we've imported it as Iostream, its namespace is actually std. So whenever you're calling a function, it's looking for std cout to narrow it down, because we could create a function called cout, and that is then how it would differentiate between our cout and the std cout, is by the namespace. But we can get away with not having to do that in our code by writing using namespace std at the start. And what that means is then if we get rid of this, there's no error. If we commented out this line, what we would see is an error would occur because it's ambiguous. It doesn't know, it's undefined. It doesn't know what it is. But if we do that, we're golden. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these, get rid of that. And now that we sort of had a look at Iostream using the namespace and we've got this code that says cout, what we're going to do is we're going to play the application. And we should just see hello world and then the regular program exited, press any key to continue, hello world. And that's this bit. This is the string. And if you've done the Java with me, you'll know all about strings. You declare them with the double speech marks, and you can put whatever you want. This is a new line character, which we went over in C and potentially Java as well, I can't remember, but it's just going to create a new line in the actual output. There's plenty of escape characters like that, and it's up to you to sort of like research them on your own time. I probably won't do a dedicated video for it. But we could modify this to say hello program with Sam. And then if we run that, it's going to say hello program with Sam. And that's sort of like how easy it is to just modify this string to get it to say something. But what now happens if we want to get something from the user? So let's say we want to ask them maybe what their name is, and then have that be put into a variable for us to store and use later. So in this instance, what we would do is we would declare the variable that we want to store their input in. We could have string name. Let's get rid of this for now and say cout, what is your name? Column space. We don't need to worry about ending L, because what we're going to do is we're going to use cin. So if cout is outputting to the console, cin is going to be inputting from the console, so you getting the user input. And we're going to get it and we're going to move it into the variable name. So whereas we're putting out into the console this string, this time we're going to get in from the console this string. And then what we can do is we can say cout, your name is, and then space name. And that is how you would concatenate a string in the output. Is just by doing this operator, putting the adding to the stream, and then continuing with the next string you want to add to the stream. In this case, we're going to put endl, or endl, which is I said it's essentially a new line character. It just says end the line. So if we go ahead and run that, we should then be able to say my name is Sam, and it says your name is Sam. But does it work for other things? So that's all well and good as getting a string, but could we do age? So for instance, if I then said cout, what is your age? Can we then see into an integer? Because this isn't a string. We're going to be typing a string, but we're going to be storing it as an integer. So the question is, will that work? And then age. So let's do that. We start with the Sam bit. We put our name is Sam. My age is 23. And it says my age is 23. So you can do it for just about any data type that you want, which is pretty good. It means that you can actually have interaction with the user where they're putting in a value. And it could be an integer, it could be a double, it could be a string in this case, like whatever. And you can then actually store it and use it in your application, which will be useful for later on when we actually come to develop more complicated applications. That's it for this time. Next time, we're going to be having a look at variables in C++, comments in C++, similarities between C and C++. These are all sort of like very similar to things that I've done in the C tutorial, so you probably won't have to watch these ones if you've watched the C tutorial series. But we'll also be looking more at namespaces and how we can actually use them in our code. If you'd like to follow me at ProgramSamBlog or follow the blog directly at programwithsam.code.blog, that would be much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.